Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Steve. Shannon Sharp said this absolutely perfectly. The only reason why Michael Jordan is coming out saying the things he's saying, and I know this video is going to get a lot of hate, but just know there's another video tomorrow going at Stephen A. Smith for saying something about Kobe being better than LeBron in a certain aspect of basketball, and I completely debunked it with factual evidence because you know how I do. Look, Shannon Sharp said this perfectly. He said, the only reason why Michael Jordan keeps throwing shots at LeBron James is because LeBron is the only one that legitimately can have a better legacy than Michael Jordan. He fears LeBron because he knows LeBron is one of those type of dudes. He's one of those type of once-in-a-generation players. Now listen. If you go back, and Shannon Sharp said this perfectly, Wilt is deceased. Okay, he's dead. You have Bill Russell. He's retired. Larry Bird's retired. Magic Johnson retired. Kareem's retired. Kobe's retired. Everyone that had a shot of taking his legacy and throwing it in the garbage and planting theirs at the top of Mount Everest. Every single one of those players are either dead or they've passed or they've retired. Okay, the only one that still has a chance is LeBron James, and we see this every so on. I would say every 10 years a new player like that comes along. You have your superstar players, your some of the greatest players ever that are in the same draft with this player. Like for example, 03, Melo, Wade, and Bosh, great players, all-time greats, top 75, top 50, top 25, wherever you want to rank them, but they're not where LeBron is. Okay, they're not up there with LeBron. Okay. You have Kobe, who was in the same draft class with a lot of other players. They ain't up there. You know, AI is good too. Let's be real for a second. But he ain't up there. Okay, they're not. AI might be up there, but for the most part, 96 draft is really just Kobe and AI, and the rest are like, oh yeah, they're really good players. You know, some of the greatest of all time, but they're not up there with Michael Jordan. Okay, and Kobe, you know, it's really just Kobe. AI was great, but let's be real, it was really just Kobe in terms of accolades. And then you have, you know, Larry and Magic. They were great players. They were up there. They had great players around them too, but everyone else was irrelevant because it was Magic versus Bird for almost 15 years. It was just Magic versus Bird for almost 15 years straight. Everyone else was irrelevant. Isaiah Thomas popped up here and there, but he was never quite as good as Larry and Magic. Now, Isaiah Thomas has 2 NBA championships, let's be real, but he was never as good as Larry or Magic Johnson. You know, Isaiah Thomas won because his team, the Bad Boy Pistons, defense, physicality, and Isaiah Thomas was just a freaking beast. One of the greatest point guards of all time. You have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who lasted pretty much 20 years, longevity, all-time scoring leader, MVPs, final MVPs, NBA championships, but Michael Jordan was better. You have Wilt Chamberlain, great player, but didn't have the accolades, sort of like Allen Iverson. Great player, didn't have the accolades to go along with it, though. Hence, Carmelo Anthony. I'm not saying Melo is up there with Jordan or whatever, but I'm saying Melo is like AI. One of the greatest ever, but they don't have accolades to back it up. So 10 years from now, people are going to be like, oh, yeah, you know, he was all right. But, I mean, what did he do in the league? So back to the main point. The only reason why Michael Jordan is even coming out saying this stuff is because he fears LeBron James. First of all, if you don't know what's going on, Michael Jordan, a few days ago, said Kobe's better than LeBron. And he said this a few years ago as well, you know, but obviously a few days ago, he said, oh, well, 5 beats 3. But what he doesn't understand is Kobe was only the best player on that championship team 2 out of the 5 years because Shaq was 3 out of the 5, hence why he has 3 finals MVPs. Okay? And then you have LeBron. LeBron has 3 final MVPs compared to Kobe's 2 final MVPs. Okay? So it's not just that. Okay? Michael Jordan, I think he said this last night or earlier this morning, said Kawhi Leonard's the best two-way player in the world. Now, it all depends on how you define it and, you know, semantics, and you want to go into in-depth and analogies on how you define being a two-way player, but that's besides the point. Kawhi Leonard is an absolute beast. I'm not mad at him for saying Kawhi is up there with them because I told you guys this right now. In the beginning of the 2016-17 NBA season, this is what I said. LeBron, Steph, and KD. LeBron, KD, and Steph, in that exact order, are on a planet of their own, and then you have every other superstar slash star player on that other planet. Okay, it was like they were on Pluto, the farthest planet from the sun. Let's say they're on Pluto, the farthest planet from the sun, and let's pretend the sun represents regular NBA players. So you have LeBron, KD, and Steph on Pluto, and everyone else on Mars. Okay, so they're farther away from the average, but the other stars are a little closer to average, but they're still ahead of the average players. But now, this season, 2016-17, Kawhi implemented himself, and he took that next step, and now Kawhi Leonard has become up there with LeBron, KD, and Steph. I mean, there's no question about it. There's no debating. In terms of defense, Kawhi Leonard is the best defensive player in the NBA without question. Rudy Gobert's up there. Draymond Green is up there. The list can go on. Tony Allen was pretty good as well. The list can go on. But Kawhi Leonard is the best defensive player I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. And I've seen LeBron when he was young. I've seen Dwayne Wade. I've seen Kobe. I've seen Tayshaun Prince. I've seen Ben Wallace. I've seen Shaquille O'Neal, Dwight Howard, Yao Ming. Who else was really good? Shane Battier, Rashard Lewis. I've seen some really great defensive players who were great on defense, and they're pretty much just shooters on the offensive end, right? Except for LeBron and D Wade and etc. and Kobe. But you have these. But then you have Kawhi Leonard that out of nowhere just elevated himself and said, look what I can do. I can score 25 just like all of these other players, but I can do it more efficiently. I'm a better three-point shooter than all of them, and he is. Statistically, look at his percentage. It's ridiculous. 50, 40, 90 pretty much. And he's a better free throw shooter, better from the field, and better from three. What more can you ask? He has a post game. He has a dribbling ability, handling ability. He's clutch. He can drive on you. He can dunk on you. He can finesse at the rim, and he'll lock down your star player. How many superstar players can do that? How many superstar players can, or not even superstars, because those are pretty much the only superstars in the, well, there's probably like four more: Melo, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Chris Paul, and there's probably more than I'm forgetting. But how many star players do you know that can lock down LeBron, lock down Melo, lock down KD, lock down Steph, lock down Russ, lock down James, whoever the hell you want to lock down? How many do you know that can lock them down, but at the same time give you 25 points? Efficiently, with 50% shooting from the field, 40% from three, and 90% from the free throw line. It just doesn't happen. So I'm not mad at Michael Jordan for doing that, because, you know, if he had to say it was anyone, I'm glad he said it was Kawhi, because Kawhi is a freaking beast. But if you want to talk about two-way players, again, it comes down to who and how you describe it, how you define it, because two-way players, if you really want to look at it, it's who's a pretty solid defender and who can play offense, who can play both sides of the floor. And when you look at it, LeBron James can still play both sides of the floor. Now, he's not as good as he used to be in terms of doing it, but he can still do that. So technically, he's the best two-way player in the world, because he can still play great defense and great offense. Kevin Durant can do the same thing, and he's a better scorer, so hence Kevin Durant's better than Kawhi. Now, Stephen Curry, he's gotten better, okay, but he's not a lockdown defender. You know, let's be real for it. He's not a lockdown defender, but his offense is ridiculous. If he gets hot, you stand no chance, because 3 field goals for him is 9 points instead of 6 for a regular person. And if he hits 4, that's 12 instead of 8, 15 instead of 10, and it just keeps going and going and going. You know, so, you know, it all depends on how you define it. It's just Michael Jordan, he's throwing shots at LeBron James, which is fine. You know, it's exciting to see that. It's very exciting to see Michael Jordan throw shots at LeBron, because it just gives LeBron James more motivation. But you know, the whole situation is just funny, and I think Shannon Sharpe described it perfectly. It just shows you how great LeBron truly is, because Michael Jordan, being the greatest of all time to most people, wouldn't come out and talk crap to someone that's not doing anything. For example, Michael Jordan wouldn't say, "Oh, well, you know, let me see here. Tracy McGrady and Carmelo Anthony have 0 rings. They're definitely going to be in the Hall of Fame." You know, but, well, T-Mac already is, but you get the point. T-Mac and Melo, they're great players, some of the best ever. Never won an NBA championship, though. But, you know, 5 beats 0. He wouldn't say that to them. Now, he'd give them respect because of how great they are and were. but he wouldn't go in depth. Oh, 5 beats 3, and here's why. You know, LeBron, Kobe, he wouldn't go in depth because why would he? There's no threat to his legacy. The only modern day threat to Michael Jordan's legacy is obviously LeBron James, because LeBron James is one of those once in a generation players. Now, we've been lucky because the last, I would say, 15 years, we've seen, lots of once in a generation players. Usually there's only like 3 or 4 every 15 years, but let's be real. The past 15 years, let's go back. We've had LeBron, Melo, Wade, Bosh. We've had Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry. We have James Harden, Russell Westbrook, even Anthony Davis and DeMarcus Cousins. I mean, come on. Those are once in a generation talents right there, So it's really it's amazing, man. We've been really lucky. We're in the best time period in NBA history, and it's only gonna get better with Lonzo, LiAngelo, LaMelo, Dennis Smith Jr., Guzman, and a whole bunch of other young players coming in. Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, the league is getting better and better by the day. It's ridiculous. Anyway, man, Michael Jordan, obviously one of the greatest of all time. You can't knock him, but I just feel like he's only doing this because LeBron's a real threat. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. I'm out. Peace.